Well, we are out behind the house going down to the pond right now. And we've got a special guest with us here that's been having her own unique and exciting
Yeah, for the
little...
last couple of months, she's had some fun encounters.
So who are we going to go down and see tonight?
Do you remember?
Oh,
Oh, there's the moon. There's the moon. Okay.
where's stars?
And the stars.
Yeah, I see stars. Oh,
Addie.
twinkle, twinkle, little star,
Let me have your hand.
Are you ready?
yeah,
Okay. We're looking for the big hairy guys.
yeah,
Yeah. Are they your friends? Do you see Took?
look,
Lily?
green.
I don't see Took.
Oh, I see you.
I see you. Where is he? Is he back hiding? Okay, let's go take them their apples. That will make them happy. So a couple of months ago, my daughter was hearing Addie at about 2 o'clock in the morning every night having conversation
What will I like?
in her bedroom in the dark and making these sounds. And it took her a minute to figure out, but she finally asked Addie who she was talking to. And Addie's a little Dutchy still. She just turned 3. But,
Where are they?
well, come on. She basically led her to believe that
Yeah.
she was talking to the people in her room at night. Are you okay? Come on. I'll help you. And Jess would say, well, what's, kind of trying to find out what they were talking about. And so Addie started saying things like water and then making a sound. And then she'd say another word and make a sound. And it was as if Jess was sure that they were teaching her words for our words, a language. Okay, how about right here? 1. Right there. And here's another one. 2, 3. Is that 4? 5. That's it.
when we go over to our daughter's house and visit with our grandbaby, we are deeply immersed inside of a 3-year-old's world. Crayons and cartoons, popsicles, toys. It's not something that we talk about with her with Bigfoot, or, we're not showing videos or having them watch videos that we've done. Their lives are full and busy between work and school and kids and maintaining a house and, being in their 30s and running all over the place. So
And that's what we expect them to do.
that's, normal life. So all things considered, it's pretty incredible when she's having the interactions and the encounters that she's having for the actual lack of exposure that she's gotten, just out
Overall,
of
right.
picking up conversations or anything like that. And when she comes out to our house to visit, most of the time she's either inside with Nana and they're coloring and got the cartoons playing, or she's outside with me with her bucket and corn for the chickens and chasing after baby chicks and
Trying to get her out of the duck water.
yeah. But
She's a busybody.
different times though, I've caught her heading toward the woods and she'll go, "I see you," and I'm looking at her and
We don't stop her. We don't tell her anything.
I'm kind of
just
watching
watch.
to see what she sees.
Yeah.
But she's having full-blown conversations.
Her mom was. I remember when her mom was this age and a little younger, we thought it was pretty incredible because she could clearly see aura. And in her generation, things like that were phenomenal. When they could interact, or she would constantly be chasing little entities of some kind or another, little imps and angels, and giving them names she's never heard in her life. And it always struck us odd. We never ever told our children that anything they saw didn't exist. We just kind of cruised through it and allowed it to be.
Allowed them to make their own decisions and come up with it on their own.
And still to this day, her mom is an amazing judge of character, and I think she still picks up on that, although it's not as present at her age. But with Addie, it's something totally different.
Well, a lot of kids, you can say, oh, they've got imaginary friends, and a lot of kids do,
Sure.
but a lot of kids don't. They're, talking to things that are actually there. But what's the most incredible about Addie's situation is that the things that she is relaying back to us are things verbatim that we have actually heard
And experienced.
the big guys
Yeah.
saying and experiencing out here. Some of the words for you were saying, this happens 2, 3 o'clock in the morning.
And that's their time. I mean,
she's having a full-blown conversation out the bedroom window.
yeah, it was in the bedroom, and now she's at the window looking out, according to her mother. And her mom is really good about she's a lot like we were because she knows how she was raised. She doesn't try to tell her that something doesn't exist. And she did tell me the other day that the way that, like Addie, easily, a lot of kids at this age are afraid of that, the shadows in the night, or something under the bed, or something in the closet. She said Addie has no fear. She's
not afraid of anything she sees, she's going to chase after. That's one of the reasons I put the glow sticks on her the other night.
So we wouldn't lose her.
We went out to the pond because she is notorious for catching something out of the peripheral and taking off after it.
Right. So
she wants to know. She wants to see what it is.
We've all agreed that if anything, in the watch and wait, we're trying to decide what boundaries to give her natural abilities. And all children have them of some kind or another.
But when you ask her who she's been talking to, and she goes, hairy guys, hairy people, or
And
big
she's so
people.
Dutchy.
Well, what do they say? And then in her 3-year-old voice, she's trying to imitate the deep guttural, that grunt.
She does a pretty incredible job of it.
And the syllables and the wording and stuff. And like I said, it's like they're trying to teach her words out of their language, so she's got a better understanding, and that may be exactly what they're doing.
It may be, and when I've asked the family about it, what comes back to me is the term new generation. And I think they are working with some of these young people a little differently than what we traditionally might have had. I think some of those barriers have been removed, and by proxy of our relationship and our own children, I think it's just generationally paying forward to establish a different.
Going to be a lot broader.
It's going to be a lot bigger than what we've even had.
Yeah, a lot broader acceptance for the fact that they're there, that they're out there.
And it's not just the people. I feel like it can be a lot of interdimensional energies. And of course we have to issue caution and make sure that these things are what they appear to be to the children. But as a rule, I kind of feel like letting go of the steering wheel until we see that there's a problem. If there's no problem, why fix it?
She's been talking to them out the bedroom window. In the backyard where they're at, there are some trees. I mean, it's not woods like this right here, but there are some trees. But then it drops down a really steep embankment down into a creek bottom.
Almost like a little ravine.
And, that's perfect for traveling corridor.
Especially at night. But she's still learning names. She's still learning. I mean, we want her to be respectful and know them as individuals, so we're trying to teach her, but at the same time we don't want to influence her experience. We want it to be raw and real for her.
And not have her just, imitating something that she's picked up, either me or Rachel or her mom or whoever. And she really doesn't watch, Bigfoot videos. It's not like we have that stuff on when she's over at the house.
It's all about Coco Melon and Sesame Street.
Yeah.
She hijacks the TV sometimes.
And it's full-blown Elmo most of the time when
right?
she's there.
But that's the way it should be, and she needs all of it. She needs the balance. And she's got plenty of time to be serious and to, live in our world eventually. But right now, we want her to explore her own magic, and we want to monitor that, but to also get really in tune with it, because I think that is the new generation. I think that is what's intended to change. Is she easily sees, and her mom agrees, she easily sees through. And I don't know how to say it other than to say it, but she easily sees through dimensional barriers or walls. And it's maybe her age, but right now everything is on an equal playing field. So of course you have to keep that in check with any child. But at the same time, I just feel like by allowing her to explore it and be who she is, that maybe it'll eliminate the idea that it can't be the way it is.
Well, yeah, we've talked about that before with, a multitude of children that are fully aware, and Adeline, she is fully aware of anything and everything that enters her space, but 2, 3, 4, 5 years old, they're not conditioned by adults yet to say, oh, it's just a shadow, or oh, it's not real, or oh, you know, whatever the story or the, you know, the line is that we try to
Draw.
dummy down our children with. But
I think the babies, as a rule, are born completely aware. And then we tend to mold them into what we are taught from the time we're young, or what's politically or socially correct, in order for them to function in this world in a way that's not getting them in trouble with the law, or it's, you know, respecting certain authority in general. And different things. Some kids don't have that.
That's natural adult instinct. We want our children to be mini-me's, you know, carbon copies of ourselves. They, in our minds, are our replacements for down the road.
Sure. And I'm not really saying that doesn't have value, because it does. But how much of what we believe, you know, the thought crosses me, how much of what we believe is what we were taught by a single individual or a couple of individuals, and may or may not be the raw truth. It may be just what they learned. And so we just keep rubbing the ham the same way year after year after year, teaching the same thing year after year after year, and generation after generation. And at some point, I think, when we can release the need to be replicated.
Inevitable. There's Mr.
Hi.
Lumpy.
Our good totem.
And even with him, he's got little lumpies running around out here now.
Yeah.
I'd like to be able to put a quarter slot in him and see if he could speak, what he'd tell about what he's seen out here in the woods.
Yep.
Well, let us get this tree fixed up real quick, and we'll be right back. All right, so real quick rundown what they've got today. Got some of the wild pears and moon pies, a bag of walnuts and jelly beans, some little peppermint breath mints, and that's because that container behind it has got some hot spicy cabbage stew in it. Some popcorn, peanut butter, beef jerky, the sardines and hot sauce. There's some apples back there in the back, and a little bag that's got the peanut-filled pretzels. I think that's just about all their favorite treats.
Yep.
And yeah, that was one thing that she brought up to us the other night when she came out. She wanted to take the apples out there. We were out in the backyard right before dark and collecting the eggs and stuff out of the chicken houses, and she kept pointing down toward the pond, and she goes, there they are, and
she was trying to run back there, and of course don't want a little one by the pond unsupervised.
But Rachel asked her who's there, and she kept trying to say Joe, which is Junior's real name, Jonas.
So we're trying to teach her Jonas, but she's so Dutchy right now. And Lily is a challenge.
Yeah, the L's are W's right now, so.
It's kind of a cross between W's and Y's. Today it's this and tomorrow it's that, but she'll get there.
Another thing that I wanted to mention, you know, usually 3-year-olds, they see and they look at everything on the same level that they are, you know, down low, 2.5 foot or below. And that's normally where they'll put things or drop things, leave things. But she's taken to putting things way up as far as she can reach by getting up on the edge of the bed, up into the windowsill of the bed.
I have a little wooden footstool that she consistently goes and gets when she comes to visit, and she's just steady putting things in the windowsills.
So she knows that they're coming to the window. So I guess that's in her own way. She's trying to leave things for them.
Which is kind of interesting. But when we went out by the pond,
That wasn't like that before.
no. It's interesting. When we went out by the pond, ironically, I wanted her to pick the tree, and I was curious to see if it was the same one I wanted to leave these little apples at, and it was. That's all new.
No, that's
What's in
been, no, look inside. Is that one of those Easter eggs?
I need to look because I've never seen this before. I see something in there.
It sure is.
I'll be daggone.
And a pair of the glasses.
All right, well, I'm just going to leave them.
Leave them there.
Yeah. And some of them, like Lily, we noticed, is all about her teddy bears and things that are a little softer, more cuddly. Different individuals seem to like completely different things.
Now, I'd be curious to try this, and next time, oh, look at there.
So we've got a female here.
There's the heel back here at the back.
Right here's the heel, comes up, I can see toes. And it's wide, so that's a female. And right next
There's
to
a
it
little foot.
is a little foot.
I started to say earlier, it's been so dry that we probably won't see any kind of footprints, but there you are. But what I'd be curious to try is next time we're over there, maybe take, some little treats, apples, snacks, or some kind of thing or whatever, and leave outside on that window.
Mm-hmm.
And see if they come up and get them, if they might leave some kind of fingerprints, handprints, or whatever on the glass. I don't know.
And repeatedly we've seen, we don't have to be in the woods to experience them. And I think that a lot of people feel limited because maybe physically they can't get out into the woods. It's all about the communication. And certainly if you have so much as a tree in your yard or,
That's a wrapper off of one of those little pies. But if there's a connection, and, they'll find you.
And we've seen where they'll leave glyphs or Y sticks in specific places, feathers, certain things that really speak volumes. Pick up this trash. I keep looking for the pile of stuff that...
That's kind of why I'm walking around these outskirts of our natural, normal trail, because all that stuff from Junior's log last time around has got to be somewhere.
Yeah. Which brings up another topic, because I've seen, and I think it's just a matter of manipulating those same dimensional barriers that we're usually limited by. We've seen where things just flat out come out of nowhere. I mean, like thin air stuff, and drop down. Interestingly, it seems like they always drop down. So I wonder if that dimensional line actually exists above us. But
Well, we were in that conversation with another individual just yesterday, and this was actually on the topic of UFO sightings, and people, I don't know how many hundreds or even thousands, in their accounts, it just popped in out of nowhere, and then within seconds or however long, it just vanished, like it just went through a curtain and was gone.
or even referring to the people, okay, well, it came out of one tree and went into another, into the inner earth. Well, there's still a lot about nature we don't understand as far as the roles of certain things, certain types of trees. I believe they aren't necessarily going into the tree, but I do believe energetically, like when you have two trees like this, energetically between them, there's something that's created that's like a curtain.
And 95% of everything that we perceive is really just air with molecules of matter in its place. And if the vibrational rate of something is at such a high rate, it can go right through what we perceive as matter as if it were a hologram.
Uncle just says it's just a part of the same space. They don't look at it as a solid in the same way we do.
But yeah, but there's been so many Bigfoot sightings where they've witnessed them just materialize or say come out of a tree or a boulder or pop up over the edge of a hill and then just vanish in the blink of an eye. It's the same principle as the UFO sightings. It's all dimensional
Crossover?
crossing, yeah, crossover, however.
And I feel like, we also got to talking about a lot of the planets, stars, systems that we view. We hear, okay, there's no life on that planet. Anku says it's not true at all. But what it is that these places, the beings that inhabit these places operate at a different vibrational rate. He said that's how they also maintain what many call cloaking or invisibility. It's vibrational. And when you increase that speed, it would be invisible to our eye, but that doesn't mean it's not there.
Just like you've explained, reaching down and plucking an apple really fast
from in front of a snail.
From in front of a snail. The snail would say it just vanished, although we know that we reached down and picked it up. If you were to slow that down, and I mean slow it down, you would probably actually see several things in that space that we perceive as empty.
Right. So yeah, if they could take a lot of the same video or clips and just micro the speed to the lowest of their capabilities. Our system is just limited in the few times that we've tried it. Even then, it's still too fast. But if a person had the ability to bring it down to 1/100th instead of 10%.
Well, the one video from last year caught two of them running across, and I slowed it down to
a tenth, which is the least we
which
can.
is as low as it would go at the time on that particular format. And they were both still moving so fast in that tenth of a speed that you had to really, really pay attention to see the two of them move through there.
Now, when you're viewing the video, just so you know, you can go into your settings. If we've slowed it down to a tenth, and you go in and adjust the speed that you're viewing it, and bring it down to like 0.25, I think is the least that YouTube offers, then you have slowed it down that much more. But for our editing purposes, we can only bring it down to a certain level. And it's frustrating because we can see it, just can't quite capture it.
Couldn't count the number of times out here or out in the backyard looking across the field, and you can see it. You can see it move so fast. See them, see sometimes 3 or 4 traveling like ducks in a row.
It's like a streak.
And it just looks like a blur, and you have to question yourself, did I really see something? Or
and a lot of the individuals that I've worked with have had the same experiences. It's just the way we're designed. Until it changes, we're only given certain capabilities, and these energies use that. They know this, and it maintains their safety, But even certain aircraft, if you will, as far as off-planet energies go, they're vibrating, they're oscillating at such a fast rate that it literally makes them invisible.
Well, we've got one more tree to fill up.
Yeah.
Let's get that done. Well, I'm not sure if that is the way that it was the last time we were here. I don't remember the big flat rock being on the bottom is what I'm saying, but it may have been.
I think it's the one on the right, because I remember we were talking when I usually use that one with the other one, and we were talking about how we could smell like it's a flint rock. We could smell smoke. But what I also noticed, and there's three limbs here plus one to the side. But what I also noticed is in the same way there's 3 rocks, we have 3 shells and one to the side. So there's something distinct.
And all of this over here is pretty much a repeat of what we did at the first tree. We've got their pretzel with the peanut butter in it, the popcorn, got walnuts, beef jerky, apples, pears, just a little bit of everything, sardines, popcorn, you name it. We've walked around and looked around and cannot find any of that wrapper or any stuff from that last time around. I want to go one more place right up here on the fringe of Skunk Island and look, because we've found stuff there
before.
repeatedly that, you know, has been gone for weeks at a time, and then it'll just show up there. I would think that if it's not there, it's got to be back around the mound area someplace. That's the only logical place that makes any sense to me, but, you know, it could be anywhere. Now, there is one little wrapper right there. See it?
Yeah. Let me see what it is.
And another moon pie wrapper. Hey, we may be on to something.
Parts of a popcorn bag.
Now we're playing I Spy. Look over here. A little peanut butter cup. Another
Fruit
peanut butter
cup.
cup.
No,
Or a
this
fruit
was-
cup that was all crunched
Some of
up.
these have been missing from other visits.
That fruit?
No,
that's
that
a
is
peanut butter cup. Had the whole thing in its mouth crunching on it.
It's out of here. This is always like an Easter egg hunt.
I'm going to say this was a Vienna sausage can.
Some of this stuff is from, I don't know, feels like a while. But we were just up here and this stuff wasn't sitting here.
No, we came through here a couple times back. None of this was here, so they've just brought this in. I think they play with it. It's a fascination because it's shiny or crinkly or whatever it is. The little ones get a hold of it. And
That, and we've seen them bait us with a trail of stuff to
yeah,
pick up,
like
just to get to another place.
leaving breadcrumbs for Hansel and Gretel. This way through the forest, children.
I don't feel like we ever disappoint in that, but we have to get it.
That's an interesting haul at the base of this tree.
Mm-hmm.
Got a
Whole book of story. We've seen where they'll take the glyphs and they'll layer them. And you can take that Y stick and put it by itself and it means one thing, but you can create, how do you say it, like in a stack, it would be maybe one word or one sentence, but it's in a stack versus spread out.
And same thing, there's an X right there. And right down here is another.
Something, something. This is pretty flat. They're still using this. I think Skunk Island is a great energetic spot for them. Not just for safety reasons because they can see all around it, but also energetically.
You
I
just
feel.
hear that real faint hoop. I just heard one back there.
Also, energetically, I feel like Skunk Island allows them the proper energy to sit and kind of be in stealth mode. Really keep your eye out because they're close.
Well, it gets really, really dense
Mm-hmm.
back through there the farther that you go. I mean, it's just a perfect place to be in and out of. And
to be.
to be. You
That's
know,
what I heard, be.
to be or not to be.
Mm.
Now you see me, now you don't.
Ironically, you know, normally we have spider web issues, but I can almost always feel where they've traveled because it's almost like all those webs are knocked down in places they would normally be, just between trees or saplings.
Well, we didn't bang the rocks when we were over there a minute ago. Just call out to them. But I'm
Somebody
about
said,
ready to wrap it up for the day and get back and get the rest of the work done for the afternoon.
okay guys, we've got your treats. We're leaving. You can come up and get them.
You don't yell very well, do you?
I don't.
Come on, you ready? There you go.
I feel like their hearing is better than that. They know how soft-spoken I am. It won't be there long regardless.
Well, I guess the great rapper hunt's going to have to wait for another trip. So I didn't see any of it really today.
And they may have up by the grove, you know, up in that area or somewhere. There's a lot we haven't gone looking for rappers in, but
All right, guys. We appreciate you tagging along with us out here today. Hope you enjoyed our little visit.
if you have feedback on teaching children, I'd be curious to hear your input on that. I know a lot of you had experiences as children, how that was handled and what difference it made.
I was zooming in on that crooked tree. That's interesting to me. Almost like trail markers. But yes, definitely. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. And we'll catch you next time farther down the trail.
Thank you.